Is Broken Arrow now under new management? When is the new DLC coming out? And who are the people who are getting the copy for free? What up, weebs? It's Corn here, and today we have a short but informative video talking about the next couple weeks, or at least the near future of Broken Arrow. So what gives, and what's changed? To start off, the CEO of Steel Balalaika, Serega, or Mr. Sergei Kuzmin, has now stepped up after a year into the game's release, claiming that he is personally responsible for this patch and the new patches onwards, whether it be new gameplay improvements, balance changes, uh, whether it be new content or even the technical depth changes, for example, like the replay system and also the what's it called again? The server side and infrastructure that we really desperately need in an RTS. And for my opinion, at least the difference I observe between Serega and FLX, these two really, special people to Broken Arrow, um, I think they're vastly different. And this has a lot to do with their philosophies, and I'll try to break it down real quick. So for FLX, I'm not throwing any shade here, but he wanted the game to be financially successful, right? He wanted as much people to play Broken Arrow, and on top of that, he also wants the game to be beginner friendly. And his way of making the game beginner friendly would be to make all the units, or at least units, more survivable, and making them easier to micro, and also a couple, there's a long list, but basically that's kind of the gist of things. So as a result, you sometimes get situations where bookers take 3 tank shots to kill. Like we have infinite resupplies on like IVs, even though he was actually trying to develop a system where supplies were limited, but you also had a hotkey that would transport infantry uh, back to the supply point and back out, which was really interesting, but he didn't make it in time. And as a result, the last patch wasn't really well received because, well, it wasn't really what the PT was about anyways. So Serega, meanwhile, he also has his philosophy, but his philosophy might be feared or at least unwelcome to some people who enjoyed FLX's version, because sometimes you look at it, it's going to be different, right? Like the way he wants the game to be would be that he would like an RTS game to be a proper RTS, something that's more similar to war game. He wants things to be more lethal, and for everything to be more lethal, maybe to die in 1 or 2 shots. He wants tactical decisions to be rewarded, and that as a result, we would probably live in a world where uh, things that you call out, if it runs into a counter, if it gets ambushed, it's actually way more likely to blow up. And I've, I mean, there have been public tests, like even beyond the PT, and I guess that's as much as I can tell you, and that even though he does claim, it's not all sunshine and rainbow, right? Even though he claims that this patch is his responsibility, um, it was actually not the intended version that he wanted to push out initially, and uh, I think someone wrote a really long letter about like what that version would bring, and as a result, this is we got a toned down version, and this is like the PT merge actually happened, and I know it's kind of weird hearing this, because like if you think about it, most of the people just wanted the PT merge, or okay, not most of the people. Some people wanted a PT merge. A lot of some people also didn't want a full merge. They actually just wanted the good changes to come, but we kind of just got a full merge anyways. And even the full merge was a compromise from what Serega wanted. So the only thing that I can say in Serega's, like the difference between Serega and FLX, besides their vision of the game, is that Serega, as a person, I feel like he's a bit more open um, to like, other people's opinions. At least that's how I think it is. Because when it came to the infinite resupply on IVs, um, it was really difficult to talk him into to talk FLX to ditching that idea. But for Serega, it took one guy and pinging some people and a really long letter to revert a lot of changes. And from that, I think, it's just like a single case, right, from these two people. But I think, at least that's going to be a start, right? It's going to be a start, and we'll see how it goes. And to close this topic really quickly, if you click on the video, he said a lot more, right? Whether I'm concerned, I am part concerned, part happy about it. But you linked the video here. Yeah, just to quickly throw you into the video that he linked down below. And it was mostly just him talking and then a bunch of gameplay. But anyways, down in the comment sections, you can see a lot of Russian-speaking comments. And yeah, it's true that basically he is from Russia, right? Or like he's from a Russian-speaking region, so he's already been well known in the Russian community for who he is and what he does, and not that much English comments. So what I think is that it would probably be a good idea that, since he also mentioned in the video himself that our feedback is very important, and I think that the English-speaking community, whether it be you, be me, whoever's listening to this video, leave your thoughts, like leave your comments. Also, continue to review the game called Broken Arrow, and that, hope for the best, and hope that Broken Arrow continues to improve as a game and as a community. So in the same community post, Serega mentioned that the new DLC is going to consist of two parts. The first part is partially, well, it's going to be half public, half bot, right? Behind a paywall. It's going to be the release of the new specialization, the National Guard, and that including the maps along with it, and also the some scenarios, which I'm led to believe that the maps and the scenarios are going to, like, everyone's going to be able to play them, but the specialization itself is going to be the DLC. It's going to be behind the paywall. And then the second half of the DLC is going to be the campaign, which is also going to be only offered to people who actually, have this DLC. And he estimates that the first half of the DLC, which is the specialization, is going to come out around August, which, to be honest, we're almost in September, so probably in the next week, next couple of days, we'll be able to know when exactly it's going to happen. And along with that, I think we'll have to cut to, I'll quickly, talk about what the specialization is going to be about, as we actually have a leak from Mrs. YukiMizuki from a couple months ago. She did a couple of data mines here and there and found out that the National Guard is actually, there's also the US Navy, but we'll focus on the next DLC at the moment. It's actually really well-rounded specialization when it comes to point allocation. It feels a lot like the USMC, where it has larger squads. It has cheap tanks, so that's maybe a downscale. Pretty good combat reconnaissance, so it's probably comparable, along with the units, comparable to that of SOF from US. The support tab is also extremely potent, because most of the things that it has are wheeled, so it's just as fast as the motorized specialization, but it actually is more versatile. For example, it has MLRS, it has the TAS on wheels, it has a Panzer on wheels, and even the S400, which is probably even an even bigger upgrade than the S300s. And on top of that, it also has one of the KA-60s, or I don't really remember the exact number, but one of the pretty good attack helicopters, transport helicopters, along with, I think, unmanned helicopter as well, and they also get the Sentinel that you saw earlier, the Russian Sentinel, which is quite interesting that Russia's finally getting something similar. Although I don't know if it's going to be as stealthy. Maybe it's not going to be a replica, maybe it's going to have maybe 1.5 stealth and then have way more optics, so to compensate for its less stealth. And Last but not least, the aircraft is going to be the really anticipated Yak. Where is it, Yak? Where'd it go? Is this the Yak? I don't remember, but is but you have the MiG-31, which is going to be able to hold the nukes. And actually, if you want to hold the nukes, then you must run a specialization with an air tab. So it cannot be guards, National Guard. It has to be like VDV National Guard or like Coastal National Guard, because the nuke itself, it costs more than I think it costs 1,200 points maybe in the other leaks that you'll be able to find in her recent posts that she made. I'll link it down below in the description. So overall, I think this new specialization is probably going to bring Russia back into the meta, obviously. I mean, it's always been pretty strong, you know? Russia's always been pretty strong. And that we really should be looking forward to it, although hopefully not too strong, otherwise the game's going to be paid to win. So that's going to be something that the devs have hopefully already figured that one out. So enough yap, then what and how and why are people getting the DLC for free? You know, who's getting this special treatment? And to put it shortly, there are currently tournaments that are rewarding players who perform well in these tournaments with the new DLC's Steam key. One of them being from Lima's community. He's currently hosting one of those tournaments, or just some fun games. And then the other one being among the Chinese-speaking community. And in this one, I mean, I'm going to be casting matches from this tournament because I looked at the teams, and even though I don't really understand what most of this means or what the hell is going on, we have teams that are pretty competitive, you know? Like, for example, I think it was this one, and we have this guy, Hot Winter, Poseidon, I think, Twin Blade, Matsukaze. Like, these are really, really good players. I mean, I should probably not use this as a... hold up. Maybe this one? Yeah, it shows their elo. So, yeah, this is like how high these guys' elo are. So they're pretty dang good at the game. And I think if I handpick some matches that I would be able to cast and at least hopefully competitive, because we're not, especially because I am an English-speaking channel, I am not allowed to host. I mean, maybe they don't have spots for me. They tell me that I'm not really that important, so. But anyways, because it's a Chinese community tournament, so I don't get priority over some things. But it's alright, I'll just try to commentate on some things, and then we'll have some good watch. I mean, some good replays. So as I observe them, pan my camera if I can. And I think the best part about this tournament is a couple things. I found out that they do not. They have some anti-bug abusing rules, because sometimes people do abuse bugs. So for example, they say that it's not allowed to airdrop units from high altitude when they're ascending with transport planes, cargo planes, because some people have been dropping recon units behind enemy lines. So it's now an immobile flare that's still in the air. It spots your opponent's backline, and they can just arty or airstrike it for free now. And then it's also the sniper from Baltic Battalion is also invincible. So that's also a bug. And then sometimes you get infinite supplies, so you also have to blow that one up by yourself. So yeah, it has so despite the game being problematic, the community, I mean, I'm pretty sure Lima's tournament is also their staff is also doing the same, where they want to ensure that this tournament or the matches are as fair as possible. So to me, I think that even though the game is not in a good state to say that the random battles are going to be alright, the tournament staff or people are working hard to ensure that to be the case. And speaking of which, you might give me a slap on my face and tell me, Corn, if these two tournaments have already finished, sign-ups and have already started playing, because, for example, this Chinese one starts tomorrow, then why the hell why are you baiting us? You damn cunt. Why were you baiting us? And to that, I would like to say that By the time that the DLC releases, or actually I should probably do it before, but like before it releases, but I will be also giving away the DLC Steam keys for free, but probably like some raffle or some of some sort. I haven't made up my mind on exactly how many and when to do it, but I'll be doing it. I'll be doing it, and maybe you'll get it. You know, maybe you'll win and you'll get it. I'm not just gonna have one Steam key, alright? It's gonna be a couple, maybe multiple, depending on how much each thing costs. Actually, I could just give it to you for free, you know? I mean, I could gift you the game, the DLC for free, then I don't need the Steam keys. Yeah, that works. That works. So yeah, that's one problem solved. So yeah, guys, that's about it for today's video. I hope it was informative. Maybe not as short as I expected, but at least fun, I guess. And I will see you guys in the next video of Broken Arrow. Probably going to be talking about a bit more DLC stuff, but yeah, we'll see, guys, and take care, and bye-bye.